Hi guys, it's Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and can you guess what we've got today? Of course you can guess, you saw the thumbnail. This is the 1602 by Brother. Let's move it a little closer for you, there you go. A nice, good size, big knife. Chunky, husky, manly knife. That I think a lot of you guys have been asking about and you probably are interested in. It's got a name that says Wonton Design. I got no idea about that designer, never seen them before. But this is a well-made knife, sturdily built, strong, with a really cool Bowie style blade right there. And it's a folding knife. So if you're interested at all in a big sturdy folder, well, it's not so big, but it's a pretty good size. Stick around because we've got a good review coming to you right now. So the Brother is your big brother indeed. It's a knife that fills your hand with an awful lot of, confidence that you've got a knife that's going to do the job. That's the main thing that this knife's got going for it. And that's not a bad thing at all. As you can see right there on the blade, it says 440C steel. I've got the number 363 right there on the thumb riser, part of the blade. I wonder, is that the serial number? If you've got this knife, what does yours say? Maybe it is, maybe they only made like 1,000 of them because there's only room for like 3 digits, maybe 4. Who knows? There's the model number 1602 on the blade right there. And then on this side, it says Brother, one knife, one life. Stainless steel bolsters, wooden handles. It's probably some kind of ebony. Pocket clip here, a very stylized handle. 2 fingers in the front, and then you've got another back choil for the last 2 fingers, and then it's got a flare out at the pommel. Open pillar construction, and it's just got plain barrels for the open pillar there. Tube for your lanyard hole. You've got ball bearings in the pivot. And I'll show you a picture of the internals, and I'll put that in right now. And you've got a wave feature right there. And I'll show you about that as well. So before we get ahead of ourselves, let's get the specs out of the way. Full flat grind, a Bowie kind of clip point right there. Great big belly, short little flat area. Finger choil right here for a sneak up choil. Some jimping on your thumb riser, also the wave feature there. Jimping on the flipper finger, the flipper arm right there, so that when your hand is in place, very secure. A little bit of jimping on the liner lock, and I'll show you a close-up of how that liner lock is locking up perfectly, just like I like a brand new knife to do. Stainless steel liners that are not skeletonized, and they could be because the weight's a little bit up there. Wooden handles, the big steel bolsters on the front, tip-up pocket clip that could be a little bit higher up because it leaves a lot of knife exposed. And the measurements are, your cutting edge is 8.5 centimeters, which is 3.4 inches. The blade is 9.3 centimeters, 3.7 inches. The thickness of the steel here on the blade is 3.85 millimeters, which is 0.15 inches. The thickness of the steel behind the grind. Haha. This is where it is important. You guys that have been wondering why I'm doing the behind the grind, that's almost a millimeter thick behind the grind. It's 0.92 millimeters behind the grind. That's 0.036 inches. That's pretty heavy. That's very robust. That makes for a strong knife, but it also makes for a little more challenge with some delicate cutting. The full flat grind helps out with the slicing, but that thick behind the grind dimension makes it a little more challenging. It's still certainly functional, and I'll show you when I demonstrate some of the cutting tests. Getting ahead of myself, right? The handle length is 12.7 centimeters, which is 5 inches on the nose. And the thickness of the handle is 1.7 centimeters, which is 0.66 inches. So just what I like in a hand my size. I've got large size hands according to the North American way of measuring hand sizes, and a little closer to medium than extra large. And this fits my hand like it was made for me, like I'm the guy that they wanted it for. If you hear a little bit of that scuffing sound in the background, that's Bandit trying to hunt for some place to lie down and take a break. Looking for a place to be comfortable. The weight of this knife, that skeletonizing would have been a good idea because it's 178 grams, which is 6.3 ounces. You know, it is what it is, and 6.3 in my way of carrying knives is no problem at all. Before I do any cut tests, I've played with this guy for almost 3 weeks now, and I've done an awful lot of cutting with it because it's just a fun knife to carry, and I've carried it more often than not, and I've used it for all kinds of stuff. I washed it up and I cleaned it up and I made it look like it's pristine, but it has done a fair bit of work. I've not done anything to the edge other than one stropping session. And, you know, it's a good knife. Let's talk about the pros and the cons. I've got a long list of 9 pros, and I'll try to go through them quickly. Ball bearing pivot, great. Lockup is rock solid, and the action, very easy and smooth. You can do the push button, you can do the light switch, and it just works. Very heavy duty, very well built, rock solid. That's pro number 2. Pro number 3, that wave feature, it works very well. I'll try to demonstrate it later on. Number 4 is its rugged good looks. I like that bolster. I really like bolsters in wood. It's just really nice. And then that Bowie clip point, really good looking knife in my opinion. Number 5 is how comfortable it is, but it's only comfortable in this one saber grip. So that'll take us into the cons later on. Number 6, I like wood. Wood's really good, and this wood is done well. Very good fit and finish. Nice matching of the seams and stuff. Very well done. Number 7, I really like open pillar construction. Makes it easy to clean, and that's a good thing. Number 8, I really like this sneak up choil. It fits my fingers perfectly, my index finger, very well in there. And the steel's thick enough and wide enough there so that, you know, it doesn't create hot spots on the hand while I'm using it. And number 9, I like 440C, and this has proven to be a good chunk of steel from all the testing and usage I've put it through and how much I have, you know, cut with it. All Torx construction, no proprietary stuff going on. I like this knife. I like it quite a lot. What are the cons? The cons are there's no other grips that are comfortable with this knife. You just can't hold it in any other way and like it. You've got your sneak up saber grip and you've got your traditional saber grip, and that's it. Another con, it's just too heavy for most people. Most guys don't want anything over, you know, 5 ounces maximum if it's a big knife like this. You know, it just is what it is. I don't mind the weight, but a lot of guys do, so I put it on there. And the pocket clip. So let's demonstrate the pocket clip right now since we're talking about it. And those are the only 3 cons that I have. So there you go. Here's my little tester for my demonstrating up my pockets. There's the knife in the pocket. And, you know, you've got a fair bit of knife sticking out there. That's right around 1 inch sticking out. A lot of guys don't like that. And because of how thick it is, let's turn it this way a little bit. Because of how thick it is, it's also quite obvious that you've got a knife in your pocket. This is not a knife that you're going to hide. But it does have that wave feature so that when you pull the knife out, you know, and you're pulling back, whoops, I got my hand in the wrong spot. It catches right there and opens up. So that wave feature, you know, catches on the pocket right there. That's a great feature. I like that an awful lot. So, you know, while it does stick out of the pocket a bit, it does work very well with that wave feature. Let's demonstrate how good this edge is, because I've done a whole lot of testing. I did some stropping last week, and I've done some more testing since then. but let's pull out some paper and demonstrate. So we've got some copy paper here. It cuts quite well for having such a thick piece of steel behind the grind. And I think I'll try to get you some close-up pictures of that as well. Let's try some other materials and see how well it cuts those things. Here's some light cordage. It just zips through that, no problem at all. Actually, I don't want to cut on this. There, I've got 4 strands of paracord right here, and let's cut through it. Oh, that went through quicker than I thought it would, actually, to be honest with you. And slicing that way works, just pressing down. This knife is very sharp. I've not sharpened it, like I mentioned before. I've stropped it one time, and it's still cutting like nobody's business. It's, a good knife. I'm liking it an awful lot. I'm very surprised that it's cutting this well for having such a thick edge behind the grind. They've just done such a great symmetry with it, and they've put such a good edge on it. I don't mind it at all. Here we go, just a piece of pine, and we'll try some cutting of some wood. You could use it for a bushcrafting knife. It cuts quite well. I'm liking this knife quite a bit. I was surprised when I did my own cut tests at how well it performed with the edge, even though it was so thick back there. But, I think it's the 440C that's shining through. A cheaper steel might not keep an edge that well. Actually, it won't, to be honest with you. It's a good knife that I like quite a lot. The price isn't too bad. I got mine from Gear Best. I bought it myself. I put the price on the bottom of the screen right now. I've got links in the description below so that you can get your own if you want one after you've seen this review. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing. Most of all, thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell so that you'll be notified of every video. It's very important to me to have a lot of subscribers because it helps me to negotiate with vendors and manufacturers to get items for free from them. Those of you who know, I live with a chronic pain disability, and so I can't work. And this is what I do with my free time, to do something productive, something that keeps me busy, something that keeps me focused on something other than myself, and I enjoy it. I love knives, and I want to share my love of knives with you guys more and more all the time. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, always cut towards your chum and not your thumb.